Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about Netflix changing their metrics, their advertising metrics. And you got to wonder, they're not doing this to make themselves look bigger, more profitable, whatever, or to kind of hose the advertisers. I think a lot of these platforms are going to inflate their numbers and make it very opaque.
And by their new metric, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but it would take the same number and it would give it a bigger number. What the old metric would show, the new metric is going to show it could multiply it up to how many people they estimate.
Yeah, it's actually kind of bullshit. It's very bullshit. And this reminds me of pay-per-view when the reason they justified the high price of pay-per-view is they're like, well, we don't know how many people are actually going to watch it. So we're going to charge, $50 or whatever for WrestleMania. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get woohoo if you do.
Woohoo! Speaking
of woohoos, go out to Kickstarter. Geeky Sparkles. Yeah, she's got less than a day on her Christmas pins. Up there we go. It jumped up again. But she's doing her vintage Christmas pins, and we have unlocked the Geeky Sparkles pin and also the free sticker for everybody.
For what it's worth, my mom likes yours quite a bit.
She
told me she liked the Santa. The little Santa's actually Neons.
Yeah,
that one's not me. My mom's very excited about that one, she said.
Does she remember Space Age Santa?
I asked her, and I think she kind of does, but I think she just wants to see how it turns out. She's really excited to see how it comes out.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. Just
letting you know, she said that yesterday when you were busy. She's like, I'm kind of like looking forward to seeing how the one that I'm not gonna say your name did. Neon did.
Yeah,
so she called you your name, but yeah.
It doesn't matter. Everybody knows my name is Tom.
His name's Tom.
Oh my God. Oh my God, guys, I've been doxxed. How could you? How could you dox me?
My wife doxed me.
Yeah, my wife doxed me. I'm all fascinated by the Space Age Santa because that was like a thing in the 50s and 60s, and I'm seeing all kinds of vintage photos, and I just, I tend to, kind of spur out.
It's really cool. Anyway, back to the point, things that matter.
All right, let's talk about this. Hollywood Reporter. Netflix claims 190 million ad tier viewers worldwide under new metric. The streamer is rolling out a stat it calls monthly active viewers, and how they're doing it, as I understand it, is how many people they think in your household might be watching the screen at the same time.
Yeah, basically. So what they're doing, the monthly active viewers is different than what they had before. Mao or whatever.
Mav.
No, Mav is a new one. But what was the old one? The old was called
Mao and Mav.
And one was one is viewers, and one was so one went by, the old one went by an
users.
Account. So if you had one account in your house, whatever, users in your house, you had one account, and you watched a minute, it would count as one view. But now under this new thing, basically what they're doing is they'll estimate how many people they think are in your house. So if you watch a minute of a show, it's potentially been watched by 4 people instead of one account. So they're going to multiply it times 4. That's basically how it reads to me.
Yeah, that's kind of skeezy. I think, in my opinion, this is like, well, you've got 4 people in your household. We have no way of proving whether or not they were in the house and watching that screen at the time you
But it potentially could have been.
But it potentially could have been up to 4 people. You might have had a dinner party that night, and you might have had 10 or 12 people watching this show. So we're going to multiply it, and then we're going to charge the advertisers accordingly.
Right, because that many sets of eyes might have seen it. For watching a minute, it's absolutely stupid. So you can read the description, but that's how it read to me.
Yeah, so they're calling it monthly active viewers, or MAV, and claims that it has 190 million such viewers in the 12 countries where it offers the ad tier. Yeah,
the advertisers are going to call it MAD. So MAD would stand for like monthly active deceptions.
There you go, monthly. Yeah, well, I think so this is what I think is going to happen. I think all these streamers are going to change their metrics because we have hit the ceiling on the number of people that are willing to subscribe. So now we're going to
people are probably canceling because of the expense.
So now they're going to say, oh, we've actually got way more viewers than that because we're not counting them all.
See, that's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if they're changing it. They're going to do it first. And everybody's going to do the same thing to try to cover their butts. But I have to wonder, is that why Netflix is doing it? Because they keep losing more ground to like YouTube and stuff. Well, they did. Now people are canceling YouTube because of the Disney Channel thing. But to me, you don't do that. You don't make this big change to make it look like you have more users unless there's a reason, and the reason likely is that they're losing subscribers. That
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that. I'm just saying that's what I would wonder.
You have to make the investors and the board feel good every quarter, right? So if you're losing subscribers, you will say, well, we've lost subscribers, but we're making more. We were actually reaching more people. We were underreporting before. So the good news, bad news, good news. Bad news, oh, look, we lost all these accounts, these subscribers. Good news is we realized that we've actually got 5 times the audience we thought we did, and we're going to charge advertisers accordingly. That's going to make the board feel real good. It's not going to make the advertisers feel good.
No, but they'll be massaging their wallet. And if their wallet happens to be in their pocket next to other things, then that's all good.
Does it ache? Does it ache when you touch your wallet? Oh.
Anyway, I guess I kind of set myself up for that one. But go ahead, read what it says. Explain what they say.
The idea behind it, says the Netflix president of advertising, this is Amy Reinhardt, she told reporters on Wednesday, is to offer a clear and understandable benchmark for how many people are seeing commercials on Netflix.
But that's not a clear benchmark. It actually sounds like a more convoluted benchmark.
MAV takes the number of users who have watched at least 1 minute of ad-supported programming on the streamer and multiplies that by the average number of people in the household based on its internal research. How'd they get those numbers? The 1 minute qualifier is reminiscent of an earlier method Netflix used to measure viewing of its series, which counted 2 minutes of watch time as a view. It has since switched to view counts measured as total viewing hours divided by running. Holy hell. Okay.
But this is supposed to be the clearer, more concise way. This is called the bullshit way to make the advertisers think that they're getting something.
Yes. God, this is like algebra. It has since switched to view counts measured as total viewing hours divided by running time for a show or movie, which other streamers have also adopted. And yes, you're correct. Disney's going to do this too and be like, oh, yeah, look, guys, we actually have 5 times the audience we thought we did, 10 times the audience we thought we did. Mm-hmm. As for how Netflix settled on the 1 minute threshold, Reinhardt said that it was the subject of a good amount of internal debate. Will we get busted for this? Yes or no? Well,
I'm just like, I just love how they're trying to make it more clear and concise.
We're going to get sued.
This isn't clear and concise.
Well,
I just want to know how many people you have in your house.
Yeah, exactly. How do they know that? I just want to point this out. If they are intent on doing this, they're playing a very dangerous game because so many of these big companies have been sued for inflating their numbers. Mm-hmm. Warner Brothers, Facebook,
Disney.
Fiat. Well,
Disney wasn't inflating as much as it was. Yeah, it was under Chapek.
It was.
They were saying under Chapek, yeah. They were moving
Universal
stuff around
Music.
to make it look more successful.
Yeah. All these people were busted for inflating their numbers. So if they're doing that and advertisers shell out millions of dollars more than they would have, and they suspect that maybe these aren't legit numbers, really, that people aren't actually watching their stuff and they're not getting a return on their investment, I can almost guarantee you there will be a lawsuit or 2 or 5 or 10 or a class action.
Because I'm like, saying one account is one person, for watch time a minute, it might be a lower number, but it's a sure number. Now it's like, okay, well, that one customer has 5 people in their house and we watched it for a minute. So I'm just going to say it was 5 people because they may have been in the room. And to me, that's very, there's no way to prove that.
Skeezy. It's very like you're broadcasting to people that you're going to inflate your numbers.
Basically, that's what you're doing.
I mean, you're broadcasting to people. They're like, oh, it's not really going to affect how we sell to advertisers. Yes, it will, because your sales reps are going to go to these big companies and be like, hey, we want 2 to 3 times as much money as we wanted last year because now we think we have 2 to 3 times the audience based on the MAV numbers.
Yeah, it does. I just think it's a recipe for trouble.
I'm
looking at their stock. Their stock dropped. I mean, Netflix is still ridiculously high stock. But it's been going down today. When did it start dropping? It started dropping on the 3rd. When was this announced?
The 5th. But
it started dropping on the 3rd. It went up again, and then it started dropping again on the 5th.
I think it's because the economy right now is not in a good place. So I talked about
it's probably the economy, but I don't think a lot of people know about this. As an investor, which I do have stock in Netflix, I'm kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, they're telling you what they're going to do. That's pretty ballsy. I got to tell you, to be like, hey, yeah, we're going to like quadruple our numbers for advertisers.
Yeah, they're just flat out saying it. Well,
they're just flat out saying what they're going to do. It. Yeah.
One's too low. And it probably is true. There's more people that watch it than one.
Yeah.
There probably is. But one's a guarantee. The other ones are maybe possibly, maybe. Any of the average, if a house has like 4 people in it or 6 people in it, they average 2 or 3. Because like, well, that's what that will say. It's like at least 2 watch, at least 3 watch it. You still don't know that.
No, you don't know
I get
that.
the reason, but you don't know that.
People leave Netflix running in the background like television. You've got people on different screens. I mean, you don't know. That was like they were saying before that they were going to try to make shows where they described every scene. So if you weren't watching because they knew people weren't actively watching their shows, you still knew what was going on. I'm like, they're called audiobooks.
Well, to me, that just sounds so convoluted and confusing. But my next thing is, here's what are they going to do? Like, if you have the app on your phone and you happen, and they can track what your phone is and you happen to be in the same room, they're going to count you.
Yeah.
And then my next thing is, they have permissions for that? They probably sign something away in the fine print. I don't know that. I'm just saying, I'm trying to figure out where they're going to get this information from.
So does Netflix and chill count? Because if you're chilling and not Netflixing, and Netflixing is just on in the background.
Well, it doesn't matter. It still counts as views because even if you're running it in the background, it still
Even
counts.
if your ass is facing the screen, you're still watching Netflix, right?
I'm just saying. Like, I mean, why would sorry. I'm like, what would your butt be facing the screen?
Because they're chilling, watching Netflix.
They're chilling. No, that's not.
That's what that means.
Well, if
you
you're
didn't know
chilling
that?
when you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. Anyway.
So this comes as advertisers are tightening their belts. Anybody who works in digital media right now can tell you things are not good. They're not good. I don't care who you talk to, they're not good. The only people that are bragging or like some of these corporations are like, our profits are up, record profits. And it's like, yeah, because the people who are actually making the content aren't getting any of that. But we've been doing websites for a very long time, like 15, 20 years. And this was an internal memo from one of our advertising networks. They sent out and they basically
allowed to share that?
Sure. I'm sure. I already shared it publicly. But they basically said, I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail. I only shared part of it. I didn't say, who the network was or whatever. But they basically said that Q4 this year is going to be terrible. And they're trying to brace people
concerning.
So, what I think that these bigger companies are also seeing that. And they're like, oh, Q4 is going to be bad. Okay, well, let's inflate our numbers so we can charge more.
Well, no one has any money.
Yeah. That's just it. And they're afraid. They're afraid to spend money because everything is up in the air. And everything feels very tumultuous right now. I just did a video earlier today. I don't know what order I'm going to post these in, but talking about all the layoffs. So we have a record number of layoffs for October, the worst in like 23 years. And they're blaming AI, but I think it's about profit.
I think it's AI partly, but I think there's a record number of layoffs too. Well, at least not yet, but I think there's going to be even more as, people stop spending money and they have to let people go. We're not talking AI type fields. We're talking like, retail and stuff. People are going to be let go from those jobs because no one has any money to spend.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't matter what your opinion on the SNAP situation is. There's a lot of grocery stores that are like, we're down 60%. I mean, Is it right? Do I think that it should be that way? No. I think it's over abused and abused, but it's also the reality that a lot of people, and depending on what area you live in, there might be a lot of your customer base might be on assistance.
And that's the thing. It's really all it takes to send the economy into a death spiral is the fear of the economy going into a death spiral. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So people stop spending money because they're afraid to spend money, but because they're not spending money, businesses have to lay people off, and then people see the news stories about all the layoffs, and they're like, oh shit, everybody's laying off. I better tighten my belt even more. It's kind of like a bank run in reverse, right? We're just like, we're not going to spend any money, and then the
they
economy
always
just
cut marketing
stops.
and stuff first.
Yep.
One of the first things to get cut is advertising and marketing, which honestly is probably the one thing you shouldn't cut at that time. But usually, and we know this for a fact, marketing gets cut first, and then that's how people get laid off.
Yeah, they need people to make the stuff. They don't necessarily need people to advertise the stuff. But if nobody knows the stuff is out there, then you're going to be laying the other people off too eventually. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a chicken or egg thing. But yeah, I think that's what's going on. I think they're feeling the pinch and they're trying to keep their stock price up. They're like, oh, guys, that's okay. We got this brand new metric. And now, oh, look, we've got 5 times the audience that Disney has. Imagine that.
It's because, we say there's like 3 people in the room, and there's one account.
Yeah. I think that's bullshit, but whatever. That's marketing though, right? That's the whole thing. The whole thing is
It's all
bullshit.
smoke and mirrors and how you spin it. It's all spin.
Absolutely. We're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.